Hey guys, Chad Hoover Kayak Fishing. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to paddle a fishing kayak standing up, but I'm going to drink some coffee while I wait for this airplane to finish flying over so I can do the video. I am a big fan of standing up and fishing from my kayak, and I'm also a big fan of doing things properly so that you're quiet, so that you're efficient, and so that you don't spook fish, especially if you happen to be fishing with me. And this happens to me a lot. I'm fishing with other anglers who are loud, they're clumsy, they spook fish, and more importantly, they just don't necessarily understand that making a couple of small adjustments would make their fishing a lot less frustrating and a lot more efficient. So I'm going to talk to you about how to stand up and paddle a fishing kayak. First and foremost, it's obvious you just pop right up for the standing part. But what most people don't put a lot of thought into is the actual how to paddle a fishing kayak once you're standing. Now, I'm a big fan of the adjustable ferrules, and I've already adjusted this ferrule to make it a little shorter. And the reason being is if you've got one of these 250, 260 paddles, you're going to be doing what I think a lot of people do wrong, which is to try to paddle from the shaft. I like to shorten my paddle down, and I like to use the top of the blade as my lever, and then I use my hand to guide me. But one of the things that I really do when I'm paddling standing up, especially when I'm stalking fish, is I go knife edge instead of taking the blade out of the water. So I come down the side of the boat and I just go knife edge, and it's almost like you're sculling standing up. The reason that also works great is it's a great way to break. If you see a fish, you can turn your paddle and push, and you can bring yourself to a quick stop. To change sides, I simply change hands and go to the top of the blade with the other hand. Reach out, make a clean catch, bring it down the side of the boat, and slowly but surely position your boat. You can use it as a rudder coming along, but I never take my paddle out of the water when I'm stalking trophy fish. I don't want to run the risk on spooking them, and when I get in really shallow water, I can actually pole with my paddle. So I don't take my paddle out for the most part when I'm stand-up paddling, when I'm by myself, because I really like to be able to just kind of glide around and manage my boat position. When I take it out of the water, I spin it so that my drips don't potentially spook fish. But I like to make a clean entry, and like I said, a smooth, powerful stroke to get yourself going, but come knife edge down the side of the boat, and then that way you don't make any noise. Drag your paddle, bring yourself to a stop. And it really is that simple. Hand on top of the paddle makes a nice T, and it gives you a lot more leverage, and then you grab the shaft and use that to provide the power. What I see a lot is guys grabbing the paddle shaft and trying to manage the boat like this, and because you don't have the power and you don't have the leverage, you have to work harder to get the boat going, and you make a lot of noise. The other thing that happens is, because you don't have control of the paddle blade flutters, and then you bump the side of the boat, spooking fish. So again, go to the top of the paddle, slide your hands down where you're just outside of shoulder width, and ease it along in the water, and then go knife edge, bring it back, turn it, and use that also as a brake to stop yourself. Now the 1-2 punch for me, for maintaining stealth, when I'm stand-up fishing and I'm using my paddle to paddle my kayak standing up, is I like to be able to stop quickly without having to set down. And you see a lot of people put their anchor wizard back by their seat. Now I like it more to where if I want to anchor sitting down, I have to set up and reach for it. But when I'm standing up, I don't want it way back here. I want to be able to reach down and just drop my anchor really quick, lock myself in position, and then drop my power pole. And I can make pinpoint presentations to bedding fish, to fish holding tight to cover. And so for me, that's kind of part of my stand-up fishing, is having that anchor wizard where it's quick and accessible. Paddle knife edge, use the top of your blade as a T, actually this way, just like you're paddling, and you're going to generate more power, you're going to have more control, you're going to be stealthier, and you're going to catch more fish. I'm Chad Hoover, and that is how to paddle your fishing kayak standing up. It's that simple.